Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hello.
Today we're looking at something probably quite familiar, maybe even in your fridge right now. Yogurt.
That's right, a staple for many.
Exactly. But you might think of it as just, a simple breakfast food or maybe a snack. But the source material we're exploring today suggests there's, quite a bit more going on under the lid.
It really does. We're using excerpts from a piece titled Yosordun Salik Faidalari.
Okay.
And our goal here, specifically for you listening, is to really unpack that, to get past the everyday view of yogurt and understand the key insights, maybe some surprising facts that these sources highlight about how it impacts our health.
All right, let's unpack this then. And where better to start than the basics? What the material actually says yogurt is.
Well, it starts simply enough. Derived from milk, obviously.
Obviously.
But right away, the source calls it out as a particularly nutritious food. That's kind of the starting point.
Okay, nutritious. How so? What does it highlight?
It goes straight for the big ones. First thing mentioned, it's especially high calcium content.
Calcium, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what most people think of with dairy, right?
Definitely. But this material says, hold on, it's not just calcium. It flags things like phosphorus, potassium, vitamin A, also vitamins B2 and B12 as important.
It's a whole range of minerals and vitamins there.
And interestingly, also mentions vitamin C and E.
C and E.
In yogurt.
That's what the source says, which kind of hints at some of those broader effects we'll probably get into later.
Okay.
But overall, the main message from this text is rich in calcium, protein, and potassium. Those seem to be the key takeaways.
Got it. And to make it more concrete for you, the source actually gives nutritional values. For 100 grams of full-fat yogurt.
It does, yeah. Let's look at that. For that 100 grams, you've got 4.66 grams of carbohydrate.
Okay.
Then 3.47 grams of protein and 3.25 grams of fat. Cholesterol is listed at 13 milligrams.
And what about the micronutrients? The vitamins and minerals? Right. Sodium is 46 milligrams. Potassium is pretty notable at 155 milligrams.
Wow.
And calcium, backing up that earlier point, is strong at 121 milligrams.
Right.
Then you've got vitamin A listed as 99 IU, vitamin C at 0.5 milligrams, and just a trace of iron, 0.05 milligrams.
So even in a small serving, it's packing quite a punch, nutritionally speaking.
Absolutely. It's a dense profile.
So, okay, it's clearly loaded with these beneficial compounds. Now, where does this material say they make the biggest impact? It seems to zero in on bone health pretty quickly.
That's right. The source states that protecting bone health and reducing the risk of osteoporosis is a major benefit.
And it links that straight back to the calcium.
Directly back to that rich calcium content we just talked about, yeah.
And I think it mentions some other minerals helping out there, too.
It does. It connects calcium, along with the magnesium and potassium mentioned earlier, to supporting overall bone health and, density.
And not just bones, right?
Teeth, too. Exactly. The source links these minerals to strengthening tooth enamel and helping prevent tooth decay and other dental problems.
Okay.
So, yeah, bone and dental health are presented as really core benefits here.
Okay, core benefits, bones and teeth.
Yeah.
But then the material shifts, doesn't it? It moves towards what might be yogurt's most famous feature.
Digestive health. Absolutely.
It calls yogurt a functional food and a powerful source of probiotics.
Yeah, and this is where we get into those live beneficial microorganisms. The source explains how they work.
Oh, so?
Basically, they help balance the intestinal microbiota, the gut environment. And that has positive effects on the whole gastrointestinal system.
Okay, balance the gut.
Yeah.
And it lists some specific digestive benefits.
It does. Things like helping nourish the good bacteria already in your stomach.
Right.
Improving digestion overall. Reducing things like bloating and gas, which many people experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And it even notes it can be effective in preventing and relieving both diarrhea and constipation. So kind of helps regulate things.
Interesting. It works both ways.
And what's really fascinating here, the material also suggests it might play a protective role against more serious issues.
Like what?
Like inflammatory bowel diseases.
Wow, okay.
And maybe the most striking connection the source makes
Go on.
is linking this regulation of the intestinal flora, the gut bacteria, directly to a reduced risk of colon cancer.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's quite a claim.
Yeah.
Stemming from gut health.
That's how the source presents it, as a potential outcome of achieving that balance in the gut environment with these beneficial bacteria.
Okay, that is really interesting. So we've got bones, teeth, digestion, gut balance, even potentially colon cancer risk reduction. What else does this source material cover?
Well, it moves into some broader health impacts. Weight management is mentioned.
Okay, how does yogurt fit in there?
It points to the high protein content.
Satiety.
Exactly, creating that feeling of fullness, which, can help with controlling weight.
Makes sense.
And it also mentions, again, that point about reducing stomach bloating. That can contribute to feeling better physically, too.
Sure. What about immunity? Does it touch on that?
It does. Immunity and inflammation are highlighted.
Yeah.
It suggests that the strong probiotic effect, combined with the vitamins and minerals we talked about,
Right.
helps reduce inflammation throughout the body, and that strengthens overall immunity.
So making you more resistant.
More resistant to diseases and even, according to this text, allergic conditions.
Interesting.
Regular consumption is also linked to heart health.
Okay, cardiovascular benefits. How does that work?
Well, remember the potassium?
Yeah, it's pretty high.
The source notes that potassium helps lower blood pressure, and lower blood pressure, in turn, reduces the risk of heart diseases.
Right.
It actually describes yogurt as a powerful protector against bad cholesterol, the kind that can lead to hypertension.
So multiple angles on heart health. Anything else?
Yes, skin health gets a mention too.
Skin. How does yogurt help skin?
It seems to be linked back to the probiotics again. Their antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties.
Okay.
The source suggests these can reduce skin inflammation and strengthen the skin's barrier functions.
Huh.
And it adds that the protein, vitamins, and minerals also play a role, contributing to things like skin elasticity, moisture balance.
So a healthier look overall.
Promoting a brighter, healthier, even younger look is how the text puts it.
Wow.
And just a couple of other specific call-outs from the source.
Yeah.
Its potential role in preventing type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
And also its usefulness, again, thanks to probiotics in helping heal certain vaginal infections like candida or yeast infections.
Right, that probiotic action again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, that's a really impressive list of potential benefits we've unpacked from this source. Bone density, gut health, immunity, heart, skin, specific infections.
It's quite comprehensive.
But let's shift gears slightly. How much yogurt are we actually talking about here? How much should you consume to get these benefits?
That's a good question. And the source says, well, it kind of depends. It's not really a one-size-fits-all thing.
Okay. Depends on what?
It mainly varies based on how much other dairy you're eating, like milk or cheese, and also your individual energy needs.
Right. Does it give any, examples?
It does, which is helpful. It says, for instance, if you are already having dairy daily, maybe some cheese at breakfast, a glass of milk later,
Yeah.
then the suggestion is about 1 bowl of yogurt or maybe a glass of buttermilk added in, perhaps with lunch or dinner.
Okay, just one serving then. But what if you don't eat other dairy?
Well, if you're not regularly consuming milk or cheese, then the recommendation from the source is significantly higher. It suggests 3 to 4 bowls of yogurt a day.
3 to 4. Wow, okay. That's quite a bit more.
It is. Seems aimed at making yogurt the primary dairy source in that case.
And does the type of yogurt matter, according to this?
Yes, it emphasizes choosing homemade and natural versions where possible.
Homemade, interesting.
And it specifically calls out preferring low-fat homemade yogurt during menopause.
Why specifically during menopause?
It circles back to bone health. It highlights yogurt's importance for women during menopause because that calcium richness is seen as a significant help against the bone loss that can happen then.
Got it. So focusing on calcium intake during that time.
Precisely.
Now, these benefits sound great, but are there any downsides? Does the source mention any cautions?
It does include a note of caution, yes. It acknowledges that yogurt can cause adverse effects for some people.
Like who?
Particularly those with lactose intolerance or milk allergies.
Right. Makes sense.
Although it does add an interesting point. Yogurt generally has less lactose than plain milk.
Oh, okay.
So that might make it, more suitable for some individuals with lactose intolerance. Not necessarily everyone, but perhaps some.
Worth knowing. And what about getting those probiotic benefits we talked so much about? Is it guaranteed?
That's a really important nuance the source brings up. Pasteurization.
The heating process.
Exactly. It kills beneficial bacteria, so that's a factor.
So even if it started with probiotics?
They might not survive processing. And even for yogurts that are marketed with live active cultures, the source notes that things like changes in storage temperature or just time can potentially reduce the number of those live probiotics.
Huh. So it's not quite as simple as just picking any yogurt tub.
It seems not if you're specifically after the maximum probiotic effect. So Based on this source material, the best advice it offers is still to, check the label carefully.
Look for what?
Look for yogurt that explicitly states it contains live, active cultures. That's still your best bet, according to this text.
Okay, wow. So we've really gone deep on just one food here.
We have.
From its basic nutrients helping bones and teeth to that really complex impact on the gut microbiome, which this source links to digestion, immunity, maybe even serious disease risk.
Yeah, it paints a picture of yogurt as much more than just a simple snack.
It really does. It positions it as this, multifaceted contributor to overall health, heart, weight, skin, infections. It's quite the list.
So I guess the question is, what does all this mean for you?
Well, it means this very common, very accessible food, based on this source anyway, is just potentially loaded with benefits you might not have fully considered.
True. But thinking about that last point we discussed.
What about the probiotics?
Yeah, about how processing, pasteurization, storage, how all that can affect those crucial live active cultures.
Right.
It kind of raises an interesting final thought, doesn't it? Does knowing that the effectiveness of the probiotics you're hoping to get might really depend on, how that specific yogurt was made and handled, does that change how you think about choosing which one to grab next time you're in the dairy aisle?